Ooh. Welcome up, guys. This is a special episode of Gaming in the Multiverse where John DiGregorio takes over. I said that correctly, right?
Yes, you did. You actually got my last name right. I do appreciate it. You actually did a fantastic job. I do want to say that myself before I actually take over this session.
Yes. This will be a very special segment to John. He is going to be teaching me some of the Silent Hill lore, and I am very eager to be learning it. I am not the biggest of horror film or game fanatic, so it's still nice to learn the lore.
Right. And I also saw your reaction for the latest Silent Hill video game as well. And I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not your cup of tea whenever I seen Joe was all for it though. Joe was all for it. But I remember being introduced into this world of Silent Hill with the PS1 video game.
Okay.
Of Silent Hill. So it's been out since PS1. And
yeah, I played it.
It came out in 1999.
I did play the first one, I remember, as a kid, but I think that's probably why I didn't like fucking Silent Hill game, because I was probably playing that at like 4 or 5 years old, just like...
Yeah, you were too young for for the little small ghost town known as Silent Hill. But I was actually in 8th grade whenever I was playing this game. And I just fell in love with it because I'm always into like dark, mysterious stuff and horror survival games. I'm also into Resident Evil and things like that too. But when I found out, of course, this is the same company that brought us Metal Gear Solid. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I do want to play this game because of that. So what I'm going to dive into is the little bit of the town history and stuff like that. And we'll go into what the first video game is about. If you have questions, let me know, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. Trust me, I will be asking questions.
Okay, so the town of Silent Hill is actually a fictional town, of course, but it's actually in northeastern United States, and the town is shrouded in supernatural occurrences and has a dark history. It acts as a conduit between the real world and the parallel dimension known as the Otherworld. And also, too, you also have the cult of Silent Hill. The town's history is also being investigated into this into the very first video game with Harry.
Okay, so now is it you said that it's basically a parallel world to ours. Is it the stuff from that parallel world bleeding into ours, or are we going into the other world?
It only bleeds into their world.
Okay.
Into the town itself, because it's basically a ghost town. And so the very first video game is probably one of my favorites, and then the movie itself was totally different than what the first one was, and I was kind of disappointed coming out of it. Yeah, but over time, I actually enjoyed the first one over the second video game now. But what we got was for the first movie, not the first movie, but the first video game rather. You have a guy named Harry. Harry's a writer, and he decides he wants to take his adopted daughter to Silent Hill for a vacation. So he gets into a car. Yeah, he goes
fucking vacation spot.
Right, pick a fucking ghost town.
Well, get out of here. Come on, honey. Let's go check out the ghosts.
Right, it'll be great. You get to go on ahead. We'll visit the haunted. We'll go ahead and visit the haunted school, elementary school. Along the way, we'll go ahead and visit the haunted hospital with all the haunted nurses. It'll be great.
I'm good.
Best vacation ever. 5 stars.
5 stars. Trivago definitely recommends.
Right. 5 people found this review very helpful. But, the thing that I liked about this was, so he winds up taking his daughter to Silent Hill. But on the way, he winds up getting into a car accident because he sees this ghostly girl on the bridge. He swerves to try to miss her, and then he gets into the car accident, and then he discovers that his daughter's not even in the car anymore. She's gone.
She did.
So that's my first initial thought. But our quest in the video game is to find his daughter. And then, of course, you have this other female cop that's in this town trying to find his daughter.
Now,
as well.
was the female cop just there, or was she like at the scene or something like that?
She was at the scene, basically.
Okay.
From what I remember, she was at the scene of the crime. But either way it goes, she's actually on Harry's side
Okay.
through this adventure. Even though I had my,
Doubts?
my red flags raised on her.
Yeah, because like I could
first.
imagine, like literally, you're describing this, and I want to ask a question, but I'm like, I'll figure it out later on. But I'm just like, is this person actually there, and is this person actually like on his side? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
110%.
that's literally the moment you give me that. I'm just like, that's part of Silent Hill, and they're trying to fucking fuck with you.
Right, because of the fact that it's a small town, number one. Number two, it's a ghost town. So therefore, this person has to be connected in some way, in some kind of capacity. But no, she's actually all for Harry trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
But, the thing that I liked about Silent Hill, though, too, that I want to mention this. So let me go through my notes real quick. So we actually find out it's closely tied to a cult known as the Order of Silent Hill. And then the cult's beliefs and rituals involve summoning deities and performing dark ceremonies. They seek to bring about the birth of a god through suffering and sacrifice. Alyssa is a central character in the Silent Hill series. She was born to a mother who was a member of the Order. Alyssa was chosen to be the vessel for the cult of God, but she re-assisted, leading to a ritual gone wrong. This event caused her to be burned alive, not bummed alive. Sorry. And I'm the one who wrote this.
You have now been bummed alive. Just a bunch of bums come out of nowhere.
Right, but this is also what resulted in her splitting her soul into two.
Okay.
So let me explain what the other world is. So the other world is Silent Hill's other world is a twisted, nightmarish version of the town. It manifests itself differently to each person who enters it, reflecting their fears, guilt, and psychological state. The other world often distorts reality and is filled with dangerous monsters and puzzles. So you're also solving puzzles on this whole entire thing too.
Okay, and so basically everything's a test in this world, just about.
Right. Everything's a test to try and get to your daughter.
Okay.
Try and save
like hyper extends your fears, your worst nightmares, like everything that you could, and it just hyper focuses.
Right.
So is it, so whatever you see, is the cop seeing the same thing, or is she seeing
she's seeing the same thing.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, now picture this. I know that you've seen the video game, but the very first one was so different and so haunting to me. Because let's say, for instance, inside the bathroom, you see those tiles, right? Those white tiles that you would see in every bathroom.
Yeah, the horror tiles.
You hear the siren go off. And you see the tiles, all of a sudden you see them being ripped off. Like, you see the whiteness decaying, and it's just basically a bare wall.
Oh, God. Fuck that.
Yeah. And then you also see a nightmarish bat that's flying around. I remember Harry being in the diner, and you see this thing flying away. And then, of course, he's also got a radio, a police radio, that the police officer gives him. And that's one of the things that he carries throughout the town to sense if there's danger or not.
Okay. So the radio kind of is
like an indicator.
Detection. Okay. So is it like it gets all staticky if he's going to a place that... Okay.
Yeah. And I remember almost running off the edge of the map. And I'm not going to lie to you. There's a cliff right where there's a police car. And then if you go a little bit over where the police car is, there's actually a cliff. You can actually overlook a cliff.
Oh, Lord, no.
And at first I was thinking to myself, okay, I didn't know where to go because I didn't have no strategy guide or anything. I'm like, okay, so is this the ending? Is this how the game ends? Where you're just
stuck
get to the
end of the
in
world?
this town? But as you venture on and everything, I really like the puzzles in this game because it's challenging. And I remember having to get my sister to solve one of the puzzles in the elementary school because I don't know shit about music notes.
Oh hell no. So oh wow, so it was like stuff like that too. Like so it was actually like
Yeah,
like not intrusive. What's the word I'm looking for? Complex. We'll just go with that word because it's not the
yeah,
word I was looking for, but complex puzzles.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Um, hold on, medallion. Yeah, it was like. Here's the thing: in the elementary school, in order for you to get the medallion that you need to venture into whatever quest you have to go to, you had to do that puzzle, and that puzzle involved the piano, and you have to get the notes right according to how the piano is, and it has to be where it's not even playing any notes.
Okay.
So I had to get my sister because of the fact that I did find a small strategy part in a magazine that I bought at a Winn-Dixie at a grocery store, and happened to have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to beat this stupid game because I was just frustrated with it. So I said,
That's
"Hey,
freaking
sis."
great.
Yeah, she came down there just to visit my dad. I'm like, "Hey, sis." She goes, "What?" I said, "Look, I need your help on a video game."
It's like listen.
And she doesn't even have a clue at what this game is or what it's about or anything like that. I just signed her up to do this one part for me.
You're like listen. Just sit down. Here's the controller. Figure this out.
And I got her to do it like 2 or 3 times after that. And then I memorized memorized the keys to get the medallion to where I didn't have to use her help anymore.
Nice.
That's how much I played it. So I forgot what the medallion was for or whatever because it's been so long. My brain is kind of fogged. But yes. Matter of fact, the medallion and everything is to activate something. Like I said, my brain is foggy on that part. But I thought it was actually pretty cool. Oh yeah, I forgot about this too. With the puzzles, there's also combination doors to the hospital. Okay. So therefore, you have to know the codes to get into the hospital.
Oh God.
So that's also another frustrating thing with it.
So like you have to memorize all the codes and all this shit. Like it reminds me of like some of the complex like Easter egg hunts that I would do. I would have to like have a separate notebook for just writing all the fucking things down, all the different combinations.
But yeah, you have to know the combinations to the doors for the little keypads. And then if you died, I think it was on the third one, there's a glitch in the game itself. Like if I died, it's not the same combination that you used last time. So therefore you have to go ahead and find another combination.
I would be so mad.
I was pissed with that part.
So mad.
But with the first game, it wasn't like that. So therefore they were able to use the same ones. And then there's also a Zodiac puzzle that was a pain in the ass too.
Oh God. There was so much to this.
It was complex. It was very high, complex. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for that magazine that I bought. And it's not even a strategy magazine either. It was just one of those PlayStation magazines that you would buy at a grocery store and just happened to have.
It just happened to have the way to beat it.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm buying it.
I need it.
Right.
Run it.
So if it wasn't, at least I mastered the piano part because of that. And it was still, and I remember this too, though. I remember we didn't have the money to get it the first time, so I'm like, okay, hopefully you'll still be here whenever I get back. So luckily I got the magazine. I was able to beat it. But those are that was some of the stuff that was actually complex with it, was that there's also the psychological theme. Silent Hills also explores deep psychological themes, including guilt, trauma, and nature and reality. That is a reflection of the character's inner demons and serves as a psychological purgatory where they confront their fears and face their consequences of their actions. And that's also something too with Harry, though, with his own guilt and insecurities and stuff like that. And basically Pyramid Head is basically Harry's guilt.
Okay, I might be getting ahead of myself, but is this place purgatory?
It's purgatory.
Okay. So all right, continue. I don't want to ask too much.
Multiple dimensions in Silent Hill series introduces various dimensions beyond the real world and the other world. These dimensions include the fog world, which is the world that I was telling you about in the town where you couldn't really see anything.
Okay.
which is a drenched and misty version of Silent Hill, and the dark world is a realm of total darkness and despair. Pyramid Head, like I was mentioning, though, Jason, is also known as Red Pyramid Head Thing, is an iconic antagonist in the series. He is a manifestation of James. Okay, it's actually James Sutherland's guilt in Silent Hill 2. And that's a different character altogether with James. So you're not playing as Harry anymore, you're playing as James.
Do you see Pyramid Head in the first one?
No. Pyramid Head actually gets introduced into the second video game.
So was there a big bad in the first one?
You're fighting against different bosses.
Okay. So there wasn't like a specific one, like
there's a big boss at the very end. And
but like not as iconic, obviously, as Pyramid Head, because even I, who have not played the game, I know Pyramid Head. I've heard about Pyramid Head. I knew he was the embodiment of someone's guilt.
Right. And matter of fact, in Silent Hill 1, this is actually the creature that it's called. It's called the Split Head.
The Split Head. Okay.
And it's a creature that Harry Mason encounters within the Otherworld version of the Boiler Room. And I'm just going to tell you this: the Boiler Room part, you're not expecting a boss fight in there.
Mm-hmm.
Until you do something with the boiler, and then all of a sudden you get into the decaying of the school and everything else, and next thing you know it, you're actually having to fight this thing.
Okay, so now if this is purgatory, and essentially, can you actually get? Can these characters actually get out? Can they live?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because there's actually 5 different endings to this game, based on your choices.
Okay. So this was kind of like an early, like your choices decided the outcome of the game.
Yep.
Okay, I like those, because I love those kind of games, like Mass Effect and shit like that, like where I can choose different outcomes and like my decisions truly impact the game. I think those are really amazing mechanics, and the fact that this has it, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, it has 5 different endings, and I'll talk about those endings in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, the Split Head is actually a Midwich elementary school in Silent Hill. Upon its defeat, a shift back to the fog world is triggered. The Split Head is the first boss fight in the entire Silent Hill series. So that's actually the big bad of the first round with Harry.
Okay.
It's the Split Head. So I can't remember on hand about the boss fight when it comes down to the main big bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you this: I remember fighting against this big, huge ass fly that was over the post office.
Okay.
And it was hard as hell to beat. So in order to beat this thing, you would actually have to get right on top of it and blast him with a shotgun.
So I started blasting.
Yeah, so basically you just get right on top of him, start blasting with it, then before he actually sprays you with poison.
Okay.
Or acid, for that matter.
That's pretty wild.
So you're shooting him, backing away, shooting him, backing away, shooting him, backing away. That's how I beat him, was off that strategy. I would take a shot and run away, run behind the water tower, then go ahead, shoot him again once he's getting sprays.
And this was all back on PlayStation 1 mechanics too. Like, so that shit was not like, it was probably good, but it was also probably like fucking really not janky, I should say, but like was the movement fluid, should I say?
The movement was actually pretty smooth for it.
Really?
For those times. Yeah, it wasn't danky. The control layout was very easy to use. And things like that. It was very easy to maneuver the guns and figuring out how to use everything. I didn't have any issues with it from what I remembered at all.
Okay.
And there's also another part of the area of the map. It's kind of like a GTA kind of flavor to it, where you're not able to access the whole map until you get to past a certain quest point as well. But the big boss fight that you were asking about is you're going to be fighting up against an incubus.
Oh, okay.
And during the good and good endings, the incubator is fought with the bad and bad endings. So depending on how you play throughout this thing, that's how you wind up.
Gotcha.
Wind up with the ending. And also, too, Silent Hill 3 has an incubus of the chronological final boss as well.
So what? So okay, what truly brought you back in after Silent Hill 1? What brought you back to the second one? Was it just the how the game felt in the first one, or was it the actual story? Like what
It was
brought
the
you back to the
story. It was
second
the
one?
overall story of someone looking for his daughter and then hoping to find his daughter and then having to do these puzzles. Even though the puzzles was hard as hell to do,
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time trying to solve them and trying to figure out where his daughter is, trying to figure out this town was under this whole entire control of the order, and then trying to maneuver that, and then going into the second one with a different character because that story is now done. Harry's story is pretty much
So
over
is that
with.
is the first one the one with the 5 different endings, or is it the
Yeah,
second one?
the
Okay,
first
so the
one has
first one.
5 different
So
endings.
what were those 5 endings?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked me that. So so quest 1 is saving um Kaufman and locating the analogous vial. So that's quest 1. Visit Annie's bar in the resort area to save Kaufman and pick up the Kaufman's key and received and he dropped between the biller tables. Use the code on the receipt to enter in the Inn Runner where you find the grocery list with the backdoor code for Norman's motel office. Use the code to enter the motel office, Weaver Street, and collect the magnet in the lounge. Use Kaufman's key to enter the motel room. 3, in the compound, push the shelf and use the magnetic to reach the motorcycle key in the floor crack. Use the motorcycle key to open the motorcycle gas tank in the motel office garage and find the gas vial. So once you do this, okay, Kaufman storms in and takes the vial, but this allows him to use it at the end. As soon as you complete the quest, you will be locked in one of the good endings, good or good, or I should say good or gooder. Well, failing to find the vial will earn you one of the bad endings,
Okay.
bad or badder. Whether you complete the other optional quest determines which specific ending you get. Note that the Indian Runner visit can be skipped on a subsequent runs since the motel backdoor code is always the same and there's no required item found there. So that's quest 1. So saving Sybil. Sybil, I want to say, is the cop.
Okay.
Let me make sure about that though, because I want to get it right.
In these good, in these the better endings, do you save your daughter or do you find her?
Okay, so I'm going to get to that in a minute because it's
Okay,
actually all
I'm
part of
sorry.
it. No, it's okay. So Sybil is actually the cop that I was telling you about.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to describe who her character is real quick, and then we'll go back over to that other thing. So basically, if you think about it, though, Sybil is a very tough and strong-willed cop, usually reserved and calm and during stressful situations. She is also very loyal and encourages to the task at hand, going as far as to risk her life to save Cheryl and assist Harry. Sybil is also skeptical of the occult and the paranormal activity in Silent Hill, Maine, believing that the cultists are either crazy or on drugs. So that's a little bit of her background, but going over to quest 2, saving Sybil. So now if you go ahead and save Sybil, now this acquires a plastic bottle in the first floor kitchen of Oklahoma Hospital. Use the plastic bottle to pick up the unknown liquid from the smash vial at the back of the next door director's office. Save Sybil by using an unknown liquid in close proximity to her during her persistent boss form on the merry-go-round. And let me just say this. The merry-go-round in Lakeside Amusement Park is dark, gritty, and gruesome. You also have like little babies, nightmarish babies around the hospital area too, and also nightmarish babies where the amusement park is, and you're over there killing them.
You're killing zombie babies?
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what I call them. I call them zombie babies. So
that's fucking wild.
Completing the above quest will lock you into the endings of good or bad, while failing to do so will earn you the one of the standard good or bad wither. So the good ending is this. There are 2 codes, a handful. Okay. At the best ending possible. Okay. Save Coffin and Annie's bar and locate. The Coffin quest requires a couple of codes and items. So I'm just going to Tears of. Okay, so the Tears of is basically the good ending. You wind up having Harry and Sybil holding a little girl, a little baby.
Okay. Is that his daughter or just a random baby?
I think I would believe that would be his baby, his
Okay.
kid. Then you also have the bad ending, the easiest ending to achieve with the worst possible result.
I
Do
can
the following
imagine.
Right. Do not find the vial in the resort area. Kill Sybil during her prosthetic form boss fight in an amusement park. Whether you save Kaufman and Annie's bar or have patient complete the resort area quest makes no difference. If you do not ultimately find the vial, just as well, acquire the unknown liquid will not make a difference if you do not use to save Sybil during the boss fight. To achieve this ending, simply do not perform any optional task, and you
So
will be locked in. Yeah,
basically, don't save anyone. Don't help a
exactly.
single soul.
And I actually did the good ending,
Okay.
and I also did the bad ending before. And I've also done this and the UFO ending too.
The what now?
There's also a UFO ending.
Where you get picked up by aliens?
So this is actually the game's joke. Okay? So serving as the game's joke, the UFO ending can only be achieved in a Nextsphere game. It requires you to find the channeling stone on the counter of the convenience store at the northwest corner of the Feeney and Backbane and Old Silent Hill at the start of the game. Then use it in the following 5 locations: on top of the rooftop of the Nightmare School, in the Nightmare Hospital front courtyard, just before fighting the Float Singer boss on the Kuntz Street rooftop, inside the parking lot of Norman's Motel, Silent Hill Resort area, inside the boat cabin of the Lakeside Pier, and after speaking with Sybil and Delilah, Nightmare Resort area, on top of the Lake Pier Lighthouse. And upon using the channeling stone of the 5th and final location of the lighthouse, the game will permanently finish with the joke ending.
That's pretty funny.
But can I show you some of the endings real quick?
Yeah, pull it up. I'll play
so yeah, so this is a 12-minute clip, but I'm gonna get to the climax.
Oh yeah, baby.
So me going ahead and share my screen.
Sounds good. Either you didn't hear me or you're ignoring me, and I like either one.
There you go. Where's the tailsman of me?
There's no volume. Oh, there we go. I can hear a little. There we go.
Just a little longer, and all would have been for naught. It's all because of that man. We must be thankful to him.
That man.
Even though Alessa has been stopped, his little girl has to go. What a pity.
That's so terrifying, just that laugh. I don't like that.
Freeze! What in the devil's name?
Dahlia.
Well. To think you'd make it this far.
You see how it's all stripped down at the bottom?
Where's Cheryl?
Yeah.
What have you done to her?
That's how nightmarish it is.
What are you talking about? You've seen her many times, restored to her former self.
I'm in no mood for jokes.
Don't you see? She's right there.
That's absurd.
It's absurd.
You are the only one who thinks so.
Why?
That shit just sitting in the wheelchair is fucking
Why are
creepy
you
as shit.
It's been a long 7 years. For the 7 years since that terrible day, Alessa has been kept alive.
7 years since what terrible day? Since the car accident?
Alessa has been trapped.
Endless nightmare from which she never was
She
awakened.
never awakens. He has been nurtured by that nightmare. day to be born. That day has finally come.
Dun dun dun.
The time is nigh.
The time is nigh.
Everyone will be
Bitch.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. That's
It's
supposed to
Agent Smith.
Return things to how they were before.
Kaufman.
That's Kaufman. That's the
Did
guy
I
that you're
ask
supposed to
this?
save.
Nobody uses me. Won't get away with this.
Your role is over. We don't need you anymore. What do you think you can accomplish by coming here?
My, aren't we getting cocky?
Oh.
Let's see this.
Glorious! I thought I got rid of that!
What
All
is
I had
that?
to do was plant it somewhere. Fine. You all kept you busy. Ah, you're easy. And there's more where this came from.
Stop it!
Oh, he winds up throwing. Yeah.
Just catches it before it hits the ground. Like, oh, what were you thinking?
Now, what are you gonna do, Kaufman?
Dude, that's the longest toss in game history. That was the longest toss in history. Oh no. Miss me with
Now
that
that's the
bullshit.
incubus. Now, what do you think?
Fuck off. Yeah, no. That's a whole lot of rope-a-dope. Nope, nope.
So after you kill him, this is the ending you get.
Nice. Give me back my kid.
But yeah, that's also another thing about Silent Hill, though, too, is all based off of the Indian burial ground. So that's why you also have a little bit of the UFO stuff happening, too. For the
Okay.
joke. There's Sybil.
Go towards the light. So is that basically them going to heaven?
That's basically them having their new life now.
The fuck is that, bitch?
That's the nurse from the hospital.
Goddamn, Kaufman. Why couldn't you get away?
I forgot how blocky the the graphics were for this time,
Dude,
but
at least she doesn't have Laura Croft titties.
true.
Just big old triangles.
But what did you think of that?
I definitely like. Don't get me wrong. Like for the time when it came out, I'm sure that was extremely fucking creepy. Like don't
It
like
was.
obviously to today's standards, it was obviously cartoonish almost, but like I can completely understand how that was extremely creepy for the time. And just in general, like seeing, like having that entire scene, like the fact that my decisions would have manipulated the game at that point in time, I think is pretty awesome. Because like I think for its time, that was probably a rather new concept, if not one of the first times it's ever been, you know.
Well, they also did the same thing for Metal Gear Solid too.
Yeah, that's true. But what came out first, Metal Gear or this?
Metal Gear, I believe.
Okay.
But okay, so now we're getting into the Pyramid Head stuff too.
Yes, let's get on to that.
Okay, so the Pyramid Head is also known as the Red Pyramid Head thing, is an iconic antagonist in the series. He is a manifestation of James Sunderland's guilt in Silent Hill 2. He wields a giant triangular helmet and a massive sword and serves as a symbol of punishment. The siren is a distinctive sound heard throughout Silent Hill, signaling the transition of the other world. This is where I was telling you about, where you actually see the tile going up and disappearing and all that stuff because of the siren.
Okay.
So when the siren blares, the town's reality shifts and the environment transforms into a horrifying and dangerous place. Multiple characters in the story. Each game is in the series, of course, has features different protagonists. You know what I'm saying. Protagonists. Thank you. And their own stories and experiences in Silent Hill. While some characters are connected, each installment often presents itself contained narrative within the borders of Silent Hill's universe. The Silent Hill lore is rich and complex, but in each game explores different aspects of the town and its inhabitants. The series has captivated me as a game player and everything, and I love the horror aspect along with the psychological aspect of it.
Yeah, this one definitely seems like it was more of like, especially like the characters trying to deal with their trauma and more of a psychological like impact on their own fears and traumas and stuff like that. I think that's really cool.
Right, and then of course the course of the Silent Hill is believed to have its own roots in ancient Native American rituals. The town was built upon scared ground, and its power was awakened with a religious leader named Delilah Gillespie, conducted a field ritual to birth a deity called the Order. So this is where the first one, when I was talking about earlier, Alyssa Gillespie is a central character in the Silent Hill lore. As a child, she was also chosen as the vessel of the Order of the deity. However, her painful life and abuse at the hands of the mother Delilah caused her spirit and soul to have two halves. And I know they were confused by that before when I mentioned that. So this act birthed the dark side, known as Dark Alyssa, and the innocent side, known as Cheryl. Silent Hill 1, the first game, follows Harry Mason's search for his daughter, like I mentioned, who disappeared after a car accident. In Air Silent Hill, Harry discovers the town shrouded in darkness and encounters various monsters and disturbing environments. It is revealed that Alyssa's powers are responsible for the town's transformation. But then you also have Silent Hill 2, which focuses on James and confronts his guilt over his wife's illness, and eventually it's also dealing with death in this one, though, too, which is something I really like.
So, like death and grief, like dealing with that kind of it.
So, let's say the reason why I'm saying that this is a good thing is good for your mental health. In a sense, playing a game like this, because if you're grieving over somebody and you can relate to Harry, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be that's a positive that you can actually, well, not to Harry, but to James.
Yes,
but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but James also confronts his guilt over his wife's illness and eventually in Anastasia. The town distorts itself based on James' psyche and reflecting the inner demons. The Order is also a religious cult that worships the deity known as Samuel, or the god. They believe that the creation of paradise requires the summoning of this god. The cult plays a significant role in manipulating events in Silent Hill to achieve their goals. So that's pretty much everything I have as far as my stuff on Silent Hill.
Okay, so the cult, they've been basically, so have the cult been behind it since the beginning? Okay.
Yeah, basically, the cult in this story, the cult has been around it.
So, well, in this one, but like, so do you find out that the cult was also basically like somewhat in the backgrounds of the first one as well?
I want to say yeah,
Okay.
because of the fact, yes, you have an Indian burial ground and stuff like that, so you have some kind of urban legend behind it. But every urban legend always has something else working in its own themes as well that somebody could be controlling and manipulating it, though, too.
Okay, and you said that the obviously the movie and the game was different, but like, did it do anything right?
It got the look of Silent Hill right. It got the look of Sybil right. It got the look and everything is fantastic.
But the story is just completely off.
It's completely off. Instead of it being Harry, it's about a mother trying to look for her daughter, who happens to be in a car accident. So they did a gender swap with it.
Okay.
And I understand why that they would do it, because of the fact that it's about a mother's love for her daughter and trying to search for her daughter within this town. So that's what I got out of it from looking at it from new lenses after it being out of theater for so many years. I went back and revisited it about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I was like, okay, so basically they did a gender swap because it's about the love of a mother, of her daughter, trying to protect her daughter, trying to bring her into this world, bring her over to Silent Hill because she's been having these visions of Silent Hill and trying to get down to the nitty gritty of it. But also, too, she also adopted this girl from Silent Hill. And you don't find that out until like later on, that she's connected in with this town.
Okay.
And she's also split into 2 different versions as well. A good Alyssa and a bad Alyssa.
All right.
So they got some aspects right, some things wrong,
Okay.
you know?
But it was definitely enough to affect the movie, I imagine.
Yeah. There's some people, get this though, on IMDb it's loved. Like I was just...
Someone must be playing Silent Hill.
That was perfect. But
Oh my god, you can't make this shit up, guys.
no, this is
You couldn't
perfect.
ask for a better. You couldn't ask for a better scream track.
Or better timing. But you know, it's also loved by people from IMDb. I was expecting IMDb to be cruel to it,
Well, probably
because I was actually looking that up today. I'm like, I wonder what people are saying about it.
it's probably filled with a bunch of people who aren't gaming connoisseurs and don't
Right.
know all the lore. So they probably took it as a standalone movie. And I'm sure
Right.
for a horror film, it was probably still pretty good.
Now,
I would imagine. No? Oh, God.
well, on Rotten Tomatoes, though,
Oh, Lord. Here we go. The real.
32% on the tomato reader and 63% on the audience score.
See, I always go off of the audience score.
Me too. I don't
The
go by
audience-
the critic score.
No, the audience score is always where I'm at because that's kind of where I feel like everyone falls. The critic score, for some reason, critics like they are true to their names, critics by heart. But like, how are critics the ones that don't like it, but the entire audience can sometimes and be like, "Oh no, that was actually really fucking good."
Right. But I have to say, they did get some things right as far as the look of the small town. They got the lore right as far as it, but they combined the first Silent Hill game in with how the second one is.
Okay.
Because you got Pyramid Head in the first
I
one.
was gonna say, I remember there. I was gonna say, Pyramid Head was in the movie for sure.
Yeah. So they combined it, and they also did the whole entire thing where you remember whenever I told you about the bell, the siren.
Mm-hmm.
They did the siren in the first one, which makes sense for the movie.
Okay.
Versus it being Harry walking into danger with
Hello,
with the static with the radio, even though they
Okay.
had that, but the siren part I think works for the movie itself. But I don't like when video game adaptations try to basically blend in both movies, both video games together. I don't like that because I want Silent Hill just to be its own movie and then
For
let
sure.
the second one be basically based on the second video game.
Especially since the first game, it seems like really set up the franchise for what it is.
Right.
And so to actually like completely undermine it and like throw both of them into one movie and kind of make the storylines together when they clearly weren't, I think that's kind of a spit in the face to the original game itself.
Yeah. And then the second movie actually it blends in the third video game.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you get the third video game in the second movie.
So it's basically all three in one almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not right. Like, I think that's just a disservice to the game, like the franchise itself.
Right. And the cool thing about the third video game, though, was this: you get the soundtrack to it, and you also get the video game.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
you're
pretty
able
cool.
to. So that's actually something I really like. I'm like, okay, so I can play this while I'm actually.
Oh, so I can play the music that's going to get me scared as shit to get me in the mood to shit my pants.
Right.
Great.
Exactly.
Fucking great.
But
Exactly
I
what
did
want.
like. I do like the soundtrack, though. I like the opening music to the soundtrack.
Nice. I can imagine. For some reason, anytime I think of like scary video games and music, the scene from like the meme that they made with what's his name from Resident Evil, the big dude, Nemesis, and it's just X gonna give it to you. Gonna get that's all. I just see him walking towards him like just X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you.
But I do want to do this real quick. Now, this is actually the opening to Silent Hill 3. Good for you. Come on. Okay, there we go. Okay. You ready for this? Hello? There? Can't hear you.
I said, yes, share it to me, good sir.
Oh, sorry. Didn't
No, I
hear
said,
you.
give me.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad.
Let me
My
see.
business.
Okay. Okay, stream. Share. Silent Hill 3 remastered. I wish they would actually remaster the first one.
Give me 1 second. Don't play that.
Okay. I'm not going to play it right now. But yeah, the overall lore and everything is very interesting when it comes down to it. The soundtrack is fantastic. I really enjoyed the third video game and the things that they do within the video game itself. And even whenever you get down to the final boss fight and everything, it's really tough and hard to beat. But it's still a good time, and I definitely recommend playing this video game. So I'm going to go on ahead and play the video now.
I was going to say, wait, what happened to it? Where'd it go?
I wanted to wait for you. So so you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So this is for the PS2. This is Silent Hill 3 remastered opening.
Already it's a whole lot of rope-a-dope. No.
And you
It
get
looks
this with
like
the
a
soundtrack.
scary. It looks like a scary version of The Office.
You know what it does though? It looks like one of those horror TV series that you would get.
Blue sky to forever, green grass blows in the wind, dancing. It would be
This is my favorite song.
Whole lot of rope-a-dope, nope right here, man.
Never felt so lonely than you came along.
There's like a whole bunch of nope.
Just rope-a-dope, nope.
I'm strung out.
Okay.
My body aches. Now
Oh no, finish.
I'm gonna close it out after this.
Oh no.
Okay.
See, I'd just be diving in front of that fucking train. No, fuck that. Absolutely fuck that. God damn it. Like, I grew up in New York and crackheads are scary, but fuck that.
Right? And the thing is, you do get a haunted train in this video game,
No.
in the subway and all that stuff.
Let's not and say we did. How about that?
Let's say we did. But now that's going to be. But to be honest with you, man, this is everything that I have laid out that I wanted to talk about with the lore for Silent Hill.
No, and I appreciate you taking the time to teach me and learn me this information. I think this has been a great episode.
Hey, girls.
We love it, guys. Just got the introduction.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's great to see you. Yeah, my boyfriend's talking about Silent Hill. Do you guys know what Silent Hill is? It's a horror video survival game. It's really cool.
All right, there we go. Got rid of that. But yes, no, John, I appreciate so much you coming, taking time away from the Movie Lovers Unite and coming here to teach me this lore. It has truly been a pleasure. But man, where can they find you?
You guys can go on ahead and follow me at Movie Lovers Unite over there on the YouTubes. And of course, you can go on ahead, listen to the audio only podcast that we have for Movie Lovers Unite, where you guys get your podcast from. I do have something coming up for tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time with ACS Universe. We're going to be doing the Sandlot review for that. Then I also have another thing that I'm going to be doing on Wednesday night with Rossi. We're going to be reviewing the new Mel Gibson film, which I can't wait to dive into with that film, and then have the director back over on our channel once again so that we can properly do the interview. But the name of that movie is called Confidential Informant, and it's got Mel Gibson in it. It's also directed by Michael Olowitz. Olowitz is actually his name. And yeah, it's going to be coming out soon to VOD, movie theaters, and stuff like that soon. But I can't wait to talk about that at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that. And then Friday night, I'll be joined by Heidi, and we're going to be reviewing the Johnny Depp movie Benny and June.
Heidi Klum?
At 8. No, not Heidi Klum. Different Heidi, though.
Heidi's Heidi?
But yeah, we're going to be reviewing the Johnny Depp movie Benny and June at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that. But yeah, that's everything that we're doing over there. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing some changes to our format with our YouTube channel. We're going to do like an audio-only podcast review of The Goonies with me, Rossi, and Alex soon. And then we're also going to do R-rated R stuff just for audio only. And that's going to be getting some plays over at the Patreon when we're going to be launching that in September.
Ooh, that's some exciting stuff, guys. And also, don't forget to check out their merch. They are now selling merch over in the Movie Lovers Unite. It is actually pretty exciting stuff. I will have all of their links in our description. So
I thought you were going to say you're going to have all of my merch. I do appreciate that.
No. Listen, my bank account can't afford all your merch.
Heard that, guys?
Okay?
He said all of my merch.
No. But I will have all of those links down in the descriptions to make sure you get over to his sites and make sure you support him as well as supporting us. Guys, you know me, Padawan Frito. I'm here every Thursday night giving you the gaming and the multiverse information. This has been another great episode with John DiGregorio. And I appreciate you so much, man. I thank you so much
you too,
for being out here. And guys, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, all of the above. Hit the notification bell. We're here for you. Don't forget it. Guys, this has been another lore video. Peace.
You know what, guys? I really like the Silent Hill game.
We know